Last week on Pokemon Cooked League, the Jade Gambits couldn't put the horse down known as the Inner Beauty Brox's Keldeo while the Marvellous Mollux got hit by the bite of 87 from the ShamWow Slow King Strikovesh. This is likely both trainers' last stand to keep their season alive. Who's going to live to fight another day? Welcome to the first match of Week 5. We have the Marvellous Mollux versus the Jade Gambits. The mon that speaks to me the most on the Marvellous Mollux side is the Dragonite here. And the reason why is I'm interested in seeing what ability the Marvellous Mollux have decided to go for. The Jade Gambits have several Intimidate users, and they are good Intimidate users, ones you expect to be brought fairly often than Cinder and the Scrafty. And the Dragonite usually is multi-scale, but this is a real argument for it to be inner focus in this, because not only do we have two Intimidate users, we also have two Fake Out users, so the ability to stop yourself from getting flinch and getting Intimidate might be huge here, but multi-scale definitely has an argument as an overall solid ability. It could even be something like Clear Amulet with multi-scale. I'd be down for an item like that. Speaking of Clear Amulet, I think Clear Amulet is kind of a must to bring on several mons here. You have a bunch of physical attackers. The Melmetal, the Cinderace, the Dragonite. Technically, the Dragonite and Salamence can be special attackers, and I wouldn't be too crazy to see that, but I expect them to do physical. Quagsire can be whatever. And on the Jade Gambit side, I think I am most interested in the Scrafty. I think I'm more interested in Scrafty than the Incineroar, because I do think its typing is a bit better here. You know, the Cinderace, yeah, can click a high jump kick into the Scrafty, but that's always a risk that can miss, that can get protected on, so that's always a dangerous click here. And the combination with that and the Intimidate Fake Out, it's good bulk. And with the at least it doesn't get hit for super effective ground type moves, which we might see from Quagsire and technically the Salamence and the Dragonite. And I'd be pretty down to lead with the Scrafty here. And just like, probably just what do you want to pair with the Scrafty? Probably something that's okay against Cinderace. I think Garchomp is pretty good here. It has ground type for the Cinderace, and it's getting on the field early makes me feel comfort that the Dragonite or the Salamence are going to get an early Dragon Dance off, and then you can just like Dragon Claw or try to outrage them before they get anything started. And on the other side, I don't know, probably just like your Monster, you're most okay getting Intimidated, which might be Chatot and like Quagsire here. But that's pretty slow, so I could see an argument for something else. Alright, at least someone here has nicknames. Oh wow, your name's Incineroar. We have all the Gambits here. Okay. Not sending out Salamence here first. I definitely respect that because, you know, the ability to get Defiant boosted and feel like terrible off the spot. Not something that I'm a particular fan of risking here. But yeah. I suspect some sort of fake out Sword Stance here, faking out the Quagsire, and I think that's a pretty safe play. And I don't know what Chat Dog can really do to help punish that, but it would be a good time for something like the Quagsire to have like Covert Cloak or something like that, but I don't think it will be. So I'm already getting kind of worried about the position here. The Chatot, I don't know Chatot stats at all. All I know is it has like chatter, and that can confuse people. I guess we'll find out what this little guy can do soon enough. Alright, so we actually didn't see the fake out here, which is kind of a shock. And this is honestly a pretty good turn one for the Marvellous Mollux. The Tailwind helps your Quagsire get the support to outspeed these mons. And they're not even that fast, but Quagsire's just so slow that they're probably just slower than both the King Gambit and the Incineroar. And getting a Yawn off to put the Jade Gambits in an awkward situation of, hey, what do I do now? Do I get my one big hit off and let this King Gambit fall asleep? Or do I have to, like, just say I lost this round, try to reset? This was honestly a really good Yawn here. We see Lewis, which means the Incineroar is not assault vested. I didn't expect it to be assault vested, but just something to note here. But yeah, definitely a difficult decision for the Jake Gambit here. And I don't know what more this chat talk can do, but we will see. All right, that echoed voice did a huge 12%, and I don't know what else echoed voice does, but I don't know. That's not a lot of damage. But good news is that the Quagsire is in fact looks like to be a special attacker here, or maybe a mixed attacker. That skull didn't do a lot of damage to Incineroar, despite it being super effective. And the Flare Blitz does put him into Citrus Berry range. The problem with like Tailwind here is that the Intimidate fake out cycle is just so annoying to like make advantage of the Tailwind, because you're getting weaker and then they're kind of stealing half a turn from you every time. It's just like, it's just hard to make the most out of this Tailwind. But you got some good damage on the Incineroar. I would love to try to double the Incineroar if possible. Both these mons don't usually run Protect. At least their normal sets don't. So, you don't have to worry about that. You can try to bully one of the slots. I don't know I don't know how much more use this chat dot has, but it is faster than most of the field. It's faster than the Scissor, it's faster than Scrafty, faster than Incineroar, faster than the King Gambit. So it could definitely at least do one more thing, like switch out and like do for one more attack or set another Tailwind later. Okay, we are clicking Snarl twice. Definitely obnoxious. And definitely makes this Quagsire look really pathetic here. Just not in a spot to really do damage anymore. Like, it wasn't really doing much damage to begin with. Like, Sludge Bomb for 8%? Like, did we accidentally make, like... Are we accidentally, like, adamant instead of, like, modest Quagsire here? Like, it's just doing nothing. But the Cinderace was, well... This was a good switch to Cinderace here. Put itself in a good position. It no longer has to worry about Intimidate, as both Intimidate users are on the field, and it has fighting type attacks to potentially threaten either of these mons, whatever he thinks is more important to KO here. With this Quagsire, it doesn't have to leave the field. I don't mind clicking Yawn on top to do something annoying, but it can also switch on the field. I don't mind either way, but I don't want to be pressing attacks with this Quagsire. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so we Yawn the left side as it was switching out, so that was a good call. Sucker Punch, I can't say I'm excited to see a Sucker Punch here. It did have the side benefit of resisting a knockoff, but like if you just have like high jump kick, like that also makes that happen. And also like if you just like, even if you don't have high jump kick, like clicking Pyro Ball, it's gonna do more damage, and you also are still gonna live. It would double the damage to 58, and you have more than 29% left, so that's fine. Yeah. But good call on the Yawn on the left slot. That's Rig. And like I said, this Quagsire either has to Yawn or switch out, and I want this Cinderace to pick a move that is at least neutral damage into one of these mons. You change your typing to Dark, which also makes you weak to incoming Drain Punch, and also loses your potential stab on a high jump kick or a Pyro Ball. So that's unfortunate. So that's just not good here. When's the last time you've seen a Chatot take 20% from a neutral hit? Like a neutral stab hit? Probably never. But yeah, stacks the Chatot. Don't think you had to do it, but I don't necessarily mind it either. Also had the benefit of him transforming into a Chatot, which I cannot imagine is the mon that he was looking to transform into. But honestly, transforming to Chatot may not actually be that bad. You can get Tailwind up, that's nice. You know, you can get the Tailwind up to help outspeed like the Quagsire, the Cinderace, and Dragonite. So maybe this Chatot does have, this transformed Chatot does have something to say for itself here. I think, I don't know what mon I'd be like I'm most okay bringing right now. Melmetal gets Drain Punch, which is annoying, so I don't want to do that. It eats the Drain Punch fairly well, but like, Salamence, I think is probably your best bring here. I think it's in a good spot to where it's not very threatened. So, and then you can set up a Dragonite dance. You might get intimidated, but the Incineroar is not that good at threatening Salamence, and you have the Yawn and Quagsire to put on pressure on a potential Incineroar switch in. We're gonna go with Dragonite. It's a similar concept as the Salamence. This may honestly be a bit better. Maybe not. I don't know. I think either is fine here. I want this Quagsire to keep on clicking Yawn as you keep on Dragon Dancing, or switch out. But I think this is definitely a time to Yawn here. I feel like a switch out is happening, or like kind of has to happen, or else this Dragonite may just click Dragon Dance several times. So you can try to make you can try to catch something here. Get. Yep, and that's quite another Yawn. So we are not. Okay, we're leftovers. Leftovers makes me lean more towards we are multi-scale and not inner focus, as assuming, because if you take such little damage like a Snarl or like a Fake Out or something like that, you can like heal it back up and get yourself back into multi-scale here. And if that's the case, then this these leftovers is already coming in pretty nice here. Yawning the Scrafty makes sense. It was probably the month that is a bit more offensively threatening here. And the Dragonite, let's see. We did see the Tailwind from the Chatot, which does make the Scrafty probably faster than a Dragonite here. And we probably had this DD again just to counteract the speed increase on the speed increases from the Tailwind. Unfortunately, even if you set up another one and Garchomp comes in, you are still slower. But maybe with the potential multi-scale, you're in a position to where you can live and just revenge KO it. Roleplay. The opposing Ditto copied the Cake Gambit's multi-scale ability. So we do have confirmation on what the ability is. I can say that role-playing a Ditto to Chatot clicking roleplay was going to be the way for me to confirm what ability it is. But that is how we figure out what ability it is. I don't like clicking Sludge Bomb here. I don't think it does enough. You're doing 14%. Maybe at best you get a poison. If you're gonna click a move, at least click Scald. Scald at least is stab and does more damage. Yeah, the Scissor comes in. This can be in a good defensive position against a Dragonite depending on its moveset. It can't have room for everything, so It could, yes, it could have Fire Punch, and then the Scissor blows up and cries. But it can very easily not have Fire Punch. It may be like, I don't know, Extreme Speed, Earthquake, Outrage, or something along those lines. Or like maybe there's an Ice Punch in there instead of one of those. So either the Scissor is going to Uber die, or the Scissor is in a relatively safe spot here. I say relatively because that is still a +2 Dragonite. But now that the unfortunately the the intimidation farms can start coming back in and start neutralizing the Dragonite here, which is why I was like more wanted Inner Focus, but the multi-scale looks like it's gonna have some value here. You know, technically getting 2 procs at least. I do want to Yawn with the Quagsire though. I did not know Dragonite got dual wing beat, truthfully. Okay, oh no, don't bring in Salamence against King Gambit. No, no, do not do that. No, 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 no. You saw earlier, I mean, you can see like the Fallen thing. Like, wait, would it say Fallen 0? I actually don't know. I think it says Fallen 0. But yeah, this King Gambit, especially because we saw lead King Gambit, this is definitely Defiant and not, what's it called? Supreme Overlord. So where you are giving King Gambit an attack boost, and because it has Sucker Punch, it can make use of that, and we see 2 priority users. I'm hoping the Salamence is special here, because if it is special, it can like threaten both these mons with Flamethrower, and that would be nice. But if it's like physical, it's not in a good offensive spot. Oh, yep, and there's the Defiant boost. At least the Intimidate is hitting the Scissor here. A +1 Scissor, I don't know. It really just depends how speed trained the Salamence is. It could be faster, the Scissor. It also could not be faster, because Scissor usually doesn't invest too much into speed, and Salamence usually does. So we'll find out. We see Dual Wing Beat. So it has 2 more moves. One of them might be Protect, and the other one might be like Dragon Claw. I hope that's not the set for the Marvellous Mollux Estate, because the Steel typing does kind of kill you here. And the fact that we do see Terra Normal, which I don't know why I don't think we needed to click that just yet. That does mean you're probably Extreme Speed, I would think. And you're giving away that information, and like the Dragon Flying type was perfectly fine against Chatot and Scissor. This normal typing doesn't help you. Like, it might like get you close combated if anything. +2 paranormal for not much. And yep, just like I said, the potential close combat threat. Okay, we are physical Salamence, but with Fire Fang. And this is going to be pretty big. We're Swords Dancing. Okay, Swords Dancing was not the call I expected here. Definitely puts it in a spot where every time you guess wrong, the Sucker Punch is going to kind of just like end something's career. 2.5 times attack with Sucker Punch is going to be very, very killer. Yeah, sending in an Intimidate user sounds really good right now. You can Intimidate Fake Out, and then the King Gambit gets a... I don't think you need the Sword Stance again. I think +3 Sucker Punch is enough for the rest of the game. But, you know, and like you can... And I'd just rather just try to click not knock off, but like Katao on something. To just try to get a KO here. Or it doesn't even have to be Katao. It could be like Sucker Punch if you get greedy, but... Yeah. Yeah, we get Scrafty here. Scrafty is definitely a bit worse against the Dragonite because we see the Dual Wing Beat. So I expect the I mean, the Dragonite is also the scarier mon here because it has the attack boost and double the speed. So I can I imagine the Fake Out. It's like either this Dragonite's getting doubled or something. Like, this Dragonite's not getting ignored. It's either getting faked out, or it's getting doubled, or it's getting sucker punched or something. So, you know, this is kind of like might be a sign that like the Dragonite is the one that's getting like super targeted here, which makes sense. But I don't really know what you're supposed to do about it. Of course, it depends on your moves, because you could just double protect here, and he could sword stance, but like, I don't think he... well, I don't really think you need the sword stance here. Like I said. Yep, we see the fake out. Fire Fang, that's going to eat that pretty well, even with the crit. There was no flinch or no burn, so that +3 knockoff is definitely going to KO a Dragonite. Let's see, we're now down to Melmetal, Cinderace, and the Salamence here. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what's better to bring here. The Cinderace does threaten both. The thing with Cinderace is that it probably just gets sucker punched. So like that's rough. So like maybe you need to bring in Cinderace and like protect, but then you're using your Libro on protect, which is kind of shameful. Or like maybe you get some sucker punch mind games correct again, but like how can you get sucker punch mind games correct if you I mean, what you could do is like, I don't know. I was like, oh, you can like go Melmetal, hard switch into Cinderace, and then like bait out the attack into Melmetal. But like, what if he just like suckers the Salamence here? Definitely a rough spot where like you have to get something right here. A sucker punch or something. I don't mind bringing out the Cinderace first. I think both have their pros and cons. Unfortunately, this is rough because there's still the Garchomp and the Incineroar for the Melmetal for the Intimidate and super effective Stab. And we still have a fairly healthy Ditto, which I don't know if it's going to be that good, but it is funny. It does help prevent something like maybe a potential reverse sweep if like the Salamence gets like a bunch of DDs off. Something of that sort. But we do know the Ditto is not a Choice Scarf. It's probably Focus Sash because we saw it click 2 moves before. I keep on forgetting Cinderace gets coaching. I keep forgetting that / not knowing that. Okay, the King Gambit just protected here, and you did get a coaching on the Salamence, which does make it more offensively threatening, and also makes it able to stomach a +3 sucker punch, at least a bit more. So the coaching, definitely not a terrible. I mean, definitely has its uses here, but man, these two mons have a lot of work to go, and there's still that +2 King Gambit and +3 King Gambit, and not only that, the King Gambit's just naturally faster than the Melmetal. That may not actually end up mattering because it may just go after Salamence with Sucker anyways, but it is a threat. And just goes directly for Sucker here. We only saw the Salamence click Fire Fang. So like just noticing the pattern, or maybe just thinking it doesn't have Protect, definitely pays off here. And now this Melmetal's in a 5v1. Melmetal is a broken mon, but I don't think it gets here. Especially because, like I said, the King Gambit's +3, and it's going to be faster than the Melmetal. Yeah, we just go for Sucker anyways. I don't hate that. Makes sense to me. Just in case, like, this is somehow max speed. Melmetal and you're not fast King Gambit. But yeah. That was, I thought the Quagsire had some good yawns, which made the battle a little bit awkward. It's just that there's just too many physical attackers against the too many Intimidates that kind of make a game plan just kind of like hard to set up. It just keeps on getting disrupted in your damage output. It just keeps on getting neutered over time, which becomes very, very annoying very quickly. But congrats to the Jake Gambits, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.